Let's see if this is working. We got way too much stuff to be talking about this late at night. Well, we're going to see if this is working first. Hello, hello, hello. You probably heard my pen clacking. Alright, I think it's all working. As we're here, Ring of Honor TV review, episode 139. Filming this Sunday morning. I can't even really say it's Saturday night because it was Saturday night for people. I don't know people's time schedule and whatnot. We had a World Series come to a conclusion. We had CM Punk finally win a World Championship again. And we had a Ring of Honor World Title match on AEW Collision. Now, this has been a very hellacious week, and everything really got thrown in a... I don't know the proper term to use here. It really got messed up. I can't say this is what messed my week up. It definitely didn't. But, like, schedule-wise and doing shit-wise, it kind of did. Long story short, the Ring of Honor World Title match that happened on Collision between Bandido and Mascara Dorada 2 was supposed to be on this week's episode of ROH, and I said it several times in last week's review. And so Wednesday night when it was announced, oh, this match is actually going to be airing on Collision, I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. Kind of screwing things up for me, which again was somewhat understandable. And I made the decision because I thought it would be easier. And again, I talked about it so many times, actually talking about wanting to review the match. And I reviewed a lot of the Bandido Ring of Honor World Title matches. There can't be many that I haven't discussed. And especially again, because I said that I was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to wait till Saturday. We'll discuss ROH TV. And then we could discuss the Ring of Honor World Title match. And there will be. Granted, Halloween was Friday, legitimately in the middle of all this. Very crazy Halloween. We had 2 World Series games and one that was a Game 7 that went to extra innings. And so, all that being said, and I am delaying shit a lot further than I have to because we're 3 minutes in now. We're here to discuss Ring of Honor TV, episode 139. We're also going to discuss the Ring of Honor World Title match that happened on Fright Night Collision between Bandido and Mascara Dorada 2. We also, if you see the thumbnail, have one more match from Collision that we'll discuss as well. So let's get right into this episode. The Outrunners and Dalton Castle take on the Gifted next. Tayshawn and Truth Magnum start the match off. I don't know what all the Gifted's members' names are because they didn't list it. They just said the Gifted and left us to guess for ourselves. But they did say Tayshawn. They did not say the other members' names. And again, another case where the match doesn't really last long, so it does not matter that much. We get lots of chops from everyone that tags in during the bout, and the Outrunners do their power-up handshake, and Castle wins with a bangarang. So I spent a lot more time discussing the Gifted members' names than the match kind of was itself. But nice to see the Outrunners and Dalton Castle back on ROH TV because they started their partnership legitimately last year, and then Castle got hurt, and it seemed like something that would just be forgotten or shelved. But Castle came back, and they quickly reunited in a cool segment on Collision. So nice to see it cross back over to ROH. Next matchup is Aaliyah James versus Billy Starks. These two teamed up in a matchup last week in which Starks walked out on James because she tagged herself in when she should not have, and so these two have beef, we could say. And there's no code of honor to start this matchup off. Starks is aggressive early, which does not help her as much as you think it would, as she gets tripped in the corner and lands foot stomps after she is able to get back up. We get a DDT that gets a 2 count. James gets her knees up on Starks' swan dive attempt. We get a drop kick and a fisherwoman suplex by her afterwards that gets a 2 count. We get a sleeper hold into a suplex, gets a 2 count for Starks. And then we get a code breaker by James that gets a 2 count. And then Starks gets a roll up with her feet on the rope to secure the victory. So a back and forth bout with Starks picking up the victory. The next matchup is Lance Archer and Rocky Romero of the Don Callis family versus QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. And I wrote this note. This, again, what makes this funny, and the reason like everything feels out of shape is because obviously I am very particular and want to do the ROH reviews on Thursday after watching ROH and then upload them on Friday. So, again, it's all my choice. Mostly my choice. So I watched all this Thursday and then had to wait till Saturday to watch the World Title match, is what kind of messes things up. So I'm trying to like refresh and remember things from Thursday, which again helps when you take notes like I do. But the thing that I wrote down before this matchup was, it is funny that in the AEW world, the Don Callis family have their own issues. But when you cross over and look at ROH, their issues are with QT Marshall and Big Boom AJ, which the Don Callis family do not like Big Boom AJ, and QT Marshall slowly but surely built up a mutual respect for him, which means that the Don Callis family has issues with him as well. So we get an immediate start once all are in the ring. Solo and Rocky are the first two legal competitors. Don Callis gets in on the action when Solo's on the outside, which creates a very funny visual because for ROH, we know that Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman do commentary, but they're not at ringside. But Don Callis for this matchup is, so he's standing there with the headset on and then leaves to go attack Aaron Solo. So very funny visual in my opinion. Archer handles it in the ring, and the Don Callis family win the matchup with an Archer chokeslam and Romero foot stomp. Then we get more attacking by the Don Callis family afterwards until Big Boom AJ makes the save, and he and QT hug afterwards. And something that you'd imagine was a big deal, but kind of was like two men hugging, kind of made it a little bit awkward. But two men that, I don't know, I kind of, again, find it funny that in the world, like on the AEW side of things, like the Don Callis family, have like double, triple the amount of members, and we only have this many on the ROH side. B, I just don't really buy the relationship or understand the relationship with QT Marshall and Big Boom AJ. It's just something that, I see what they're going for. I don't know. The other thing is, the matchup they're setting up for is not supposed to happen at ROH. It's supposed to happen on the Full Gear buy-in. So, very confusing. But I just probably made it a little bit more confusing for y'all. But I digress. Shane Taylor Promotions versus the Workhorsemen and B for the 6-man tag titles is a matchup that's scheduled to happen next week. And again, I'm going to be a sarcastic asshole. It's scheduled to happen next week because anything can change. But for now, Shane Taylor Promotions and the Workhorsemen and B for supposed to face off for the 6-man tag titles next week. But this week, Shane Taylor Promotions member Lee Moriarty is in a proven ground bout against Alex Zayne. We get a Border City stretch applied early, leading to Zayne's first rope break. Zayne then attempts a springboard, but Moriarty trips him on the ropes. We got an octopus stretch that uses Zayne's second rope break. Zayne hits an inside-out moonsault to the outside, and then in the ring applies an ankle lock that uses Lee's first rope break. The Moriarty reverses Zayne's Hurricane Rana into a Border City stretch in the center of the ring to finish the matchup. So, I will say this was a good matchup, which gotta be difficult for me to say a Lee Moriarty match was bad. Next matchup, this one again has kind of been built up. The Premier Athletes with Story Denali. It does not help that I only wrote down Premier Athletes. Versus the Grizzled Young Vets and Isla Dawn. When Isla Dawn and the Grizzled Young Vets teamed up a couple weeks ago, the Premier Athletes attacked them after the bout, and so this is them looking to get revenge in this bout. Gibson and Nice start the match with lots of taunting by Nice until he gets poked in the eye. Dawn tags in and tries to fight Daivari and even gets a back suplex off, but struggles once Story Denali tags in. Drake gets distracted by Denali and Mark Sterling on the outside when he is the legal man. Once Gibson tags in, he hits a pump handle suplex on Daivari that gets a 2 count. Gibson lands a dive to the outside while in the ring. Drake hits a slice of bread for a 2 count. Then Denali tags in and lands a pop-up punch on Drake that sends him to the outside, and a big chokeslam on Isla Dawn, leading to the Premier Athletes picking up a victory. So, a very good bout right here. As we have one more to discuss on ROH TV 139, but don't worry, We still got 2 more matches to discuss after that. But the main event of ROH episode 139, I might have said 239 by the way. It's late. It's late. Blake Christian and Lee Johnson versus Mascara Dorada and Commander. Blake Christian and Lee Johnson started the show off with a message to Dorada that they are upset that everyone else seems to be getting attention. Everyone else seems to be getting title opportunities when he is undefeated in one-on-one competition and feels he deserves a world title match. That is still not happened. So he's going to take it out on Dorada. And they don't really have a problem with Commander, but he's a part of the problem now if he's teaming with Dorada. So a quick and simple message. Also, side note, very interesting side note because I noticed it. In the crowd, the Videotron in the background, like normal where it would have a digital sign that says AEW says ROH. This time around it had a clock, which granted, I might have just explained all that. There was a clock during the course of this match. This matchup was filmed at 11:10 at night. So, fun fact for that I noticed. We got no cut of honor as Christian and Dorada start off with a fast pace. Johnson's super kick and Christian's spear to Commander on the apron. Christian lands a splash on the barricade to both opponents. Dorada tags in when they're back of the ring and lands a springboard arm drag to Johnson. We get double Hurricane Ranas and dives to the outside by Dorada and Commander. Johnson and Christian land a spin kick into a brainbuster for a 2 count on Dorada. Tornado DDT on Johnson by Commander. Then just Christian to quickly follow up with a lethal injection. We get double dives to the outside on Christian with Dorada going back in the ring to hit a shooting star press on Lee Johnson to finish the bout in this episode of ROH on Honor Club, and was a bit of a warm-up bout for his Ring of Honor World Title match, which I've talked about it way too much, and I made a big deal about it. From Fright Night Collision, also on the Day of the Dead, the day after Halloween. Ring of Honor World Title match, Bandido versus Mascara Dorada 2, a rematch from ROH Global Wars Mexico earlier in the year. I mentioned it was Day of the Dead, and Bandido was in a special attire for this. Bandido powers out of a surfboard early and applies his own soon after. Then he bangs his shoulder up when he hits a dive to the outside, and Dorado moves out of the way. Bandido reverses a Hurricane Rana on the outside into a face buster on the apron, and follows this up with a dive to the outside. And in the ring, hits a frog splash for a 2 count. Dorado's face buster off of the second rope, and a tornado DDT gets a 2 count. Bandido reverses Dorada on the apron as both crash to the outside in a pretty crazy moment. Dorada lands a Hurricane Rana in the ring and a tornado to the outside. Then lands a shooting star press to the outside as well off of the second rope, which looked very concerning because he was very close to... You very rarely see a shooting star press off the second rope to the outside, so I thought it was dangerous. Bandido hits a next knee in the ring, but is then reversed as well into a tornado DDT. Both men hit drop kicks at the same time, which is a very weird side note that I'll say, because we're already ranting. We kind of already went a little bit off the rails during the course of this. A wrestling trope that has happened for years and years that I know a lot of people don't like are when 2 competitors go for a drop kick and then they pop up and taunt one another. This is more realistic. If both people are going for a drop kick, both people should connect. And with this one, it got rid of that trope that everybody hates, and it looked crazy as hell, and it leaves you second guessing what the hell is about to come next. So thank you to both men for doing that. Back to the match. Then we get many pinfall attempts by Dorado. Bandido gets his knees up on a shooting star press. Hurricane Rana off of the second rope by Dorado still leads to a pin by Bandido very quickly. But once they're back on their feet, Dorado's in perfect position to be hit with a 21-plex by Bandido as he successfully retains his Ring of Honor World Title. I guess I should also mention that this was actually the main event of Fright Night Collision. So as much as I'm complaining about this match not happening on ROH TV, which to be fair, I haven't really complained about it. I've just said they moved the match and then I had to change my schedule. I'm not really complaining about them moving the match. I'm complaining about having to change my schedule, which bothers me. It might bother y'all. If it does, I slightly appreciate it. Regardless, as a special treat, as a special bonus, since having it delayed, and I saw that all the men in this match kind of had ROH ties, I felt, let's discuss one more match from Fright Night Collision, and I had already put it in the thumbnail of the video. La Faction Ingobernables. I think it's Ingobernable. I don't think there's an S at the end. Versus Commander, Mark Briscoe, and Roderick Strong. I will fully admit, I know that Roderick Strong is not in the conglomeration. Is Commander in the conglomeration, and I missed it. I don't really know why he would be in this match when the conglomeration already has so many other members, but at least I like Commander, so it's not like, I like continuity. I think that's what I'm getting for. That being said, let's get into the match. Strong and Sammy start the matchup off, and Sammy looks like he has half of a mustache, which was very odd. And that was the plot of a Drake and Josh episode when Josh, he had a mustache, and then his girlfriend Mindy shaved half of it off because she hated it. It's kind of noticeable. And so for all that, he got several chops by Roddy. Commander and Drilistico tag in with frequent pinfall attempts on one another, leading to Mark and Mortos tagging in with Mark using redneck kung fu. Mark and Roddy do drop kicks to the outside, but Sammy stops Commander from doing a dive onto him. Back from commercial break, Roddy tags in with a pop-up knee to Mortos and a backbreaker to Sammy. Then Mark lands a corkscrew moonsault to the outside. We're back in the ring. He hits a J Driller on Drilistico to end the matchup and to end this well-extended, long overdue Ring of Honor TV review. I like AEW Collision. I was gonna say I love. Love's a strong word. I like AEW Collision. I liked again being different, and we got to discuss matches that we typically and watch things that we typically wouldn't discuss on the channel. I don't like that it was delayed, and I apologize to y'all if y'all are really wanting to ROH review on Friday. You had to wait till Sunday, but I also told y'all what was the deal and whatnot. So, point being, I hope it's not a regular occurrence. I don't really want it to be a regular occurrence because that'd be a pain in my ass, and probably yours as well. But at least the matchup and everything that came out of it was well worth it. So, I don't know what to expect for next week's ROH TV review. I'm going to imagine and say we're going to do it on Friday. I don't think we're going to do back-to-back weeks on Sunday because Sundays are an extremely busy day. Saturday is an extremely busy day, which would have been, it's kind of Saturday bleeding into Sunday is what makes it crazy. But I'm going to stop talking about it, get it uploaded. That way you can enjoy it all and enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're watching it. So, appreciate y'all. Sorry if I ranted and rambled a little bit too much. Kind of keeping me awake. So, there's that. Appreciate y'all. I'll let this matchup play out and tell y'all who wins if y'all care that much as well. So, appreciate y'all. See y'all when I see y'all. I'm out for now.